You may have seen headlines about the FAA temporarily shutting down the airspace around El Paso, and at first it sounded pretty alarming, especially when it was described as being closed for up to 10 days for what were called special security reasons. So let's walk through what actually happened. The Federal Aviation Administration initially issued a temporary flight restriction that halted all civilian flights in and out of El Paso International Airport. The agency classified the area as national defense airspace, which is serious language. It even included a warning that the government could use deadly force against an aircraft if it were determined to pose an imminent security threat. Naturally, that raised eyebrows, but here's what we now know. Administration officials told CBS News that the closure was triggered by Mexican cartel-operated drones breaching U.S. airspace near El Paso. The Department of Defense reportedly took action to disable those drones. Because drone activity can be unpredictable, especially when operating near commercial flight paths, the FAA determined that at least temporarily, it could not fully ensure the safety of civilian air traffic. Airlines were told the closure was done out of an abundance of caution. Part of the complication is that U.S. military drones have also been operating near the area, including from Biggs Army Airfield at Fort Bliss, which sits close to El Paso International Airport. Those operations were reportedly occurring outside normal flight patterns as part of counter-drone efforts. There have also been reported communication challenges between the FAA and the Department of Defense about how to manage overlapping military and commercial airspace, and similar coordination issues in other regions have led to close calls between military and commercial aircraft. The shutdown, however, did not last long. Just hours after announcing the 10-day closure, the FAA reversed course and lifted the restriction. Officials said that after reassessing the situation with defense authorities, they determined there was no current threat to commercial aviation. The FAA publicly stated, "There is no threat to commercial aviation. All flights will resume as normal." Airlines reportedly learned about the closure when it was publicly posted, and El Paso International Airport said the move was made on short notice. Flights were briefly canceled overnight and travelers were advised to contact their airlines. But normal operations resumed once the restriction was lifted. So, in simple terms, the airspace was temporarily restricted because of cartel drone incursions into U.S. airspace, combined with active military counter-drone operations nearby. The FAA acted conservatively, paused flights, reassessed the threat, and then reopened the airspace once officials determined commercial aviation was not at risk. It was dramatic language, but ultimately a short-lived precaution, not an ongoing shutdown and not a direct threat to passenger flights.